Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Danny from Fitness with Dan, and today I'll be sharing with you guys a beginner's lower body program. Okay, so like I said, for beginners, this is a body weight program, so you don't need any equipment at all, just a little bit of space like this, and it's going to be 20 minutes long. We're working with 5 different exercises. We're going to be working for 50 seconds a piece, resting 10 seconds in between exercises, and we're going to do that 4 times, okay, in a little circuit, so that's your 20 minutes. Now, the exercises we're using today are going to be a bodyweight deadlift, just the top of the motion, not the whole thing. We are going to be using a bodyweight squat, some forward lunges, some static side lunges, and some glute bridges to finish off the circuit. Now, if all of those exercises seem quite familiar to you, make sure you've had a warm-up and you can jump straight ahead to the video. For those of you who want a little bit of coaching or a little bit of guidance on some of those movements, stick around because I'm going to do a brief demo and explanation of each. Okay, so bodyweight deadlifts, let's have a very, very quick look at it. So we've got a massive bend at the hips here. Small bend at the knees. We're just actually doing the top portion of a conventional deadlift. Okay, so feet, we want them pointing forwards and we want them between hip and shoulder width apart, depending on the individual and your ratios and differences in shape and size. Now, once we've got that set up, we are looking mostly at the pelvis. So we're going to initiate by sticking our bums out. Hands are going to slide down to our knees. Chins are going to be looking forwards. And we want extension at our spine, okay? Nice straight back. From there we just reverse the motion by coming up and tucking under. Okay, so we initiate by doing like a Donald Duck kind of thing, slide down, finish off by doing like a Pink Panther kind of thing. Now, when you're trying to stand up from it, I want you to initiate this with your glutes. Okay, so you're going to squeeze them together like you're trying to hold a piece of paper and thrust forwards quite powerfully. Do not think upwards, think forwards. Okay, you're trying to chuck your hips into whatever's in front of you. Okay, so that's your bodyweight deadlift. Squats, we're just doing bodyweight squats obviously. Now, foot setup, that is the most important thing here. We need symmetry. So whether you want to be a little bit wider, like I prefer with your toes pointed out, a little bit closer with your toes pointed forwards, fine, not too fast. Hell, you can even do a sumo squat for this, not too fast at all. Don't let your feet point inwards, whatever you do. And the most important thing is symmetry. Like I said, we can't have one pointing forwards, one poking outwards. That's an exaggeration. You'll all be very aware if you do that. But even a little bit like this makes a very big difference, okay? So make sure those are completely symmetrical. Once you've done that, small bend at the knees, force them out so they're in line with your middle toe or your second toe, the one next to the big toe, and then keep them there. That's not going to change. Okay, now we're going to initiate actually in the same way as the deadlift. We're going to stick our bums out. But once we've done that, this time we are not hinging at the hips, we're bending at the knees. So we want to think heads up, chests up, arms out for a counterbalance, and then we're getting our bum as low as we can while keeping those things. Very similar to your deadlift, we need extension at that spine. Can't have any folding, okay? So, just like so. And the whole time, you're trying to force those knees outwards, because the lower you go, particularly that point where you're about to stand up, they're going to want to wobble in, okay? A little bit of Elvis knee wobble, Elvis knee wobble. We want to avoid that, so we're going to use these muscles here to keep them forced out, John Wayne style, whole time. Now, forward lunges, so we're going to be alternating legs when we do this. Nice big step out, so that our finished position has 90 degrees at both knees. Whoop. Both feet pointing forwards. Make sure that back foot doesn't point outwards, because that's going to completely change what's going on. It's quite easy to get the front foot going forwards because you can see it. Back foot you can't, so really pay attention to that one. It gets a lot of people. Head's looking forwards, and then we're just pushing back. Now, when I push back, there's kind of like a peeling thing going on with the foot, okay? I want to be pushing through my heel, so I'm going to peel my foot off like so, yeah, and then I swap legs. Now, the lunge isn't a high impact exercise, but there is a bit of impact, so I want you guys to try and land quite softly, okay? Bend and absorb as you land. Now the next one is a static side lunge. We're keeping it static because this is for beginners, and it's quite hard to get this right actually, because we don't really exercise in this plane here very often. So this is a great way to learn sort of foot placement and stuff with it. Now we want to be pretty wide here, okay? I've got about 1 meter between my feet and I want them pointing forwards, okay, same direction as my head. These guys are going to want to turn out as you go. Make sure they stay forwards. From there, unlock my knees a little bit, hands up to counterbalance, and then I'm just going to load one side of the body. I'm going to push back, and I'm going to load the other side of the body. Now the key to this one is not going sideways actually, you're going backwards. Okay, if I try and go sideways, I'm going to get stuck here. Okay? But if I go backwards, so hips are going back, much like the squat and deadlift, as I go sideways and downwards, I can get much deeper into that. Okay? But same rules apply. Back, straight, head up, hands can be there for a counterbalance, and then we push back to the middle. Last little thing on that, have a look at the trail leg. So if I were to side lunge out here, that is not locked. That's got a little bend in it, and that foot is still firm on the ground, so I've got a bit of support here. Quite important. Now the last one, glute bridges. These look really, really easy. I'm sure you guys have seen them before, probably done them before, but most 90% of people do these wrong. They're actually quite complicated, but you can really get a lot from them if you pay attention to just a few little things that I'm going to show you. So first, foot setup. We're looking for ankle, knee, hip aligned, toes pointing forwards. Okay, and we're about sort of hip width apart, obviously. I also want your toes off the floor. Okay, so once you've got that, and you're lying down, you're pretty much good to go. Now, what you want to avoid doing is thinking pelvis up, pelvis down. We need a tuck, okay? So we need to start, the movement actually starts from your stomach, okay? So we need to engage here, the lower abdominals, to try and flatten our lower back into the floor. Normally when you lie down, you're going to be able to get your hand underneath. We want to push down, okay? And you'll feel some tension here. Once you've got that, you'll also notice that your hips have tilted, a little bit of a posterior tilt, just like when you finish the deadlift, okay? So continue that tilt as you lift, okay? And you're going to come to this point when you go up where other things start to kick in. So when I do this, that initial bit, I can feel tension here, I can feel a little bit in my glutes, a little bit in my hamstrings. As I continue to raise, those things increase. And when I get to about here, I can feel my lower back begin to kick in. Not painful or anything, but taking tension, beginning to do the job of these two. We want to keep these guys doing the job for this exercise, okay? So we want to stop right before that point. So find your threshold, your point of bind, and just work to there. You don't need to go all the way up here, okay? Because that's actually just hyperextending. And the last thing I want you guys to think about is the motion of your spine and how it contacts the ground. So we want to be thinking about peeling the spine off the floor and then letting it come back down vertebra by vertebra, okay? And that's your glute bridge. Okay, so if you need to practice any of those, go ahead. If not, I hope you're warmed up, and we can jump straight to the video. If you need any guidance on a warm-up, I'll link a sort of warm-up tutorial thing in the description below this. But otherwise, let's jump straight in. Okay, get ready everybody, get your stances set up for your deadlifts, and off we go. Sticking the bum out, sliding down, thrusting forwards to stand up. Make sure you've got that head up as well, because that's going to help you keep the upper portion of your spine extended. Okay, shoulder blades together as best you can, and remember that upwards motion isn't an upwards motion, it's a forwards motion. Okay, you can control the way down, but on the way up we want to squeeze and thrust. Make sure you're breathing in on the way down, out on the way up. Last few reps. Really take your time with this, guys. This is more about learning patterns than anything else. Getting into good habits, take a little bit of rest. So next we've got squats. So use this rest time to set your feet, remember all the rules, symmetry, find somewhere that's comfortable, unlock the knee, force them out, keep them there, and then off you go. So just like the deadlift, that head's staying up, looking forwards, hands can come out for a counterbalance. And remember, we're initiating by sticking the bum out, just like with the deadlift. Okay? Keep it going, guys, at your own pace. Keep that chest high. We're thinking chest up, bum low. And the whole time, remember, those knees are probably going to want to cave in for most of you. So keep forcing them out. And don't forget, the lower you go, the greater the demand for you to force them out. Very, very important to get in the habit of doing. Good, rest. Okay, so we've got forward lunges next. Make sure you've got a little bit of space. I'll show you this from a side view. Now, both feet pointing forward to start, very important. And off you go.
Round 3.
So remember, nice big step. Control down just before the knee touches. Push back quite hard. And don't forget that peeling sensation. Okay, we're peeling the foot off the ground because we're pushing through the heel to come back. In terms of balance, try and look at the same point. It helps a little bit. Get a focal point right in front of you. Try and make that landing nice and quiet to absorb the impact. Almost there, last couple reps, guys, keep going. Good. Okay, couple seconds to rest. You can use this to set your stance. So nice and wide, pointing forwards, soften the knees, counterbalance, backwards, outwards and downwards. Push back, other side. Take these nice and slow. It's quite a complicated movement. A lot of you are really going to struggle with this, so really do take it slow. So just like the other 3 movements, head is looking forwards, and we're not going to look down when we go down, okay, because that's going to round our spine. Chest is still nice and high. Remember, guys, those toes, you can see mine are doing it. They're going to want to creep out. Keep them pointing forwards. Check them every few reps because they will poke out. So keep it going. Almost there. Keep. Good. Okay, lay yourselves down. Glute bridges. So, ankle, knee and hip in line. Toes off the floor. And here we go. So push the lower back into the floor. Curl, lift. Squeeze at the top and then control, nice and slow. Really squeeze your butt cheeks together, hard as you can, like you're trying to hold that piece of paper, just like when we do our deadlifts. And don't forget, if you go a little bit too high, you're going to find your lower back kicks in. We want to be stopping before that point to maximize the work done. Like these guys, glutes and hamstrings. Keep it going, take it nice and slow. Get used to that vertebra by vertebra sensation. Okay, on your feet. On your feet, guys. 1 round down, 3 to go. Quick sip of water if you've got one next to you. So set the feet, force the knees out, and then we go bum out, thrust, control, power. Breathe in, breathe out. Remember, head's looking forwards, chest's nice and high, bum stuck out like Donald Duck. Make sure, just like the glute bridges, that you are tucking to finish. If that's getting a little bit, not simple, but a little bit more familiar, a little bit easier, try not to come up and then tuck. try and initiate that tuck from this position. As I stand up, I'm already tucking. Okay? I want these guys to fire and squeeze as soon as I'm ready to push my hips forwards. Okay, set your stances for your squats. Okay, symmetry, knees pointing out. Off we go. Breathe in on the way down, out on the way up. Keep those heads looking forwards so we can keep extension at the spine. Now in terms of how low you go, guys, it's how the lower the better, obviously, but with good form, good posture, so we can teach our body good habits. So whatever flexibility you have, whether you're going here or if you're going right down here, you go as low as you can on each rep to get used to that bottom range. Okay, makes it more functional, more pliable, and you're going to get more out of it. Okay, forward lunges, so don't forget those feet need to start straight. Now in terms of the distance, I'm starting with my feet underneath my hips. When I step out, I want to keep that distance. I don't want any coming in front or coming too wide for now. We're keeping that hip width distance. Okay. So you guys probably have a lot to think about with these exercises so far. I'm going to give you more. Look at the arms. Because this is body weight and we're not doing anything but lunging, it's quite helpful to counterbalance. So opposite limbs move forwards together to counterbalance the weight of each other. Helps us keep quite neutral. Okay? It's exactly the same motion you do when you walk. Okay? Breathe in on the way down as you absorb, out as you push off. Good. Okay. Side lunges. So nice and wide. This is probably the one you guys are struggling with most. Now, feet pointing forwards, unlock the knees, off you go. Breathe in as you load, out as you push up. Take a pause here if you need to, guys. I really, really want accuracy with these, precision. Okay, like I said, they're a complicated exercise. Not many people get these right, to be honest. But I want you to really focus on this. Okay, remember those feet will want to slide out. Keep them in check. Every few reps, have a quick look down. Make sure they're still good. Remember that bend is backwards, downwards and outwards. Okay, it's not directly to the side. We've got to stick those bums out and bend the knee to load. Okay, glute bridges. Get yourselves down. Remember that alignment, ankle, knee, hips, toes up, and off you go. Curl, squeeze, lift, find that point, reverse the motion. Feel that spine lifting off the floor and coming down like a snake or a caterpillar. Okay, vertebra by vertebra. And it's not an up and down kind of thing. What you're really actually thinking of is aiming your genitals at your chin. Okay, that's what we need to be thinking about. That's what really, really activates the abdominals, glutes and hamstrings and keeps the lower back out of the equation, which is what we're looking for here. Okay. Good. 2 down, 2 to go, halfway through it. So I'm going to give you a little bit less instruction now, guys, so you can work a little bit more. These should be quite familiar to you and you should be able to pick the pace up a little bit. Okay. Bum out, thrust. Keep those heads looking forwards, chests high, make sure those backs are nice and straight. If you're still focusing on things like the pelvis, the breathing, the extension of your spine, placement of your feet, any of those things, take it slow. It's absolutely fine. It's always, always, always better to build a good pattern before anything else. That's always what comes first. That must be the first priority, okay? Otherwise you are really shooting yourself in the foot and shortchanging yourself. Squats. Okay, so set the feet, you know the drill. Symmetry, bend the knees, force them out, John Wayne style, counterbalance. And when you hear that bell, off you go.
Round 12.
Head's looking forwards. Breathe in, breathe out. And only go as low as you can with good posture. Okay, so that means heads up, chest high, we've got extension at the spine all the way through. It's nice and stable. And those knees aren't wobbling all over the place. Okay? Good. Okay, forward lunges. Get yourself set up, chest high, shoulders back and down. Both feet pointing forwards at hip width apart. When you hear the bell, absorb,
13.
push off. Counterbalance with the arms. Don't forget to push through the heel. Okay, we're landing heel toe, and then we're going toe heel to push off. Something else I see quite often on the push back is an upwards and then a backwards. Make sure you're not doing that. We want upwards and backwards together, okay? You're gonna have a lot more power to push back from here than you are from here, okay? Upwards and backwards together, driving through the heel. Keep going, keep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Good, okay. Side lunges. So hopefully you guys are getting a little bit more familiar with these now. So nice and wide, pointing forwards. Off we go.
Round 14.
So these ones you probably can't feel working muscles in the same way that you feel the others, because these are in a slightly different plane. Okay, we're going side to side as opposed to forwards, backwards, up, down, which is how most of us train all the time. Okay, so again, you won't really feel it as much, but it is still very, very important to learn to move in this plane. Okay, to keep control of those feet sliding out, to keep that knee from locking. Okay, to keep your spine extended in this position. Now, glute bridges. Okay, we know the drill. Ankle, knee, hips, toes off the floor. Curl, push, squeeze. Control vertebra by vertebra. Nice and slow, guys. This is all about control. And remember, when you hit that point at the top, don't go beyond it. We don't want the lower back kicking in on this. Okay? Trying to get our stomach, bum, and hamstrings. Just get used to that pattern, that tilt and untilt. Okay? Because as I'm sure you're beginning to notice, it comes up in pretty much anything where the hips bend, which is any functional exercise, or even exercises where the hips don't bend actually. Anything where you're in a plank position or holding something isometrically, anything you do, you need to know where your hips are. So very, very important. sure you're squeezing those glutes, guys. A lot of us, particularly those of us who work at desks or wear heels and quite a few other little things like that, glutes don't want to work too hard on their own. You're going to have to make a decision each time you thrust to squeeze them together and hold that piece of paper. Okay, because we need to get them as active as we can. Squats. So set the stance, symmetry, unlock the knees, force them out, keep them there, counterbalance, off you go.
Round 17.
Don't forget to breathe, guys. Remember, this is a beginner's video and this is all on the lower body, okay? So if you are a beginner, which most of you are if you're watching this video, it's quite a lot of work, 20 minutes on the lower body non-stop. So take it slow, go at your own pace. It's much, much more important to get the form right, make sure you're safe, and build good habits than it is to get a sweat on and get your muscles burning or expend energy or whatever the reason you're here for. Okay? Form, posture, all of that needs to be your top priority when you're exercising. Okay? Take it as slow as you need to and work on anything that you don't feel is right. Okay? Forward lunges. Show you from the front view this time. So again, feet both pointing forwards. Make sure we've got that hip width, step out, and we're not coming in or coming out. Nice big steps, guys. Really, really, really key. Keep yourselves upright. Okay, we need that straight line from shoulder, hip to knee the entire time. Okay. Keep it going, guys. This is your last round. You can push a little bit more here. Good. Side lunges, yeah. Okay. So set the feet, pointing forwards, and here we go.
19.
So you can kind of do whatever you want with your hands. I personally prefer to put one up and one down. I'm not really sure why. It helps me balance, I guess. But most of you will want your hands out here because your body's going backwards and you're going to want to counterbalance that. Okay? Make sure those heads are still up and that movement is still out, sideways and downwards, loading the weight into one leg, keeping that trailing leg a little bit bent and that foot flat on the floor so you've got stability. Cool, okay. Glute bridges and then we are done. So get yourselves down, get that alignment, ankle, knee, hip, toes up, off we go. Curling, tucking, squeezing at the top and then controlling down. Really beginning to understand and feel that caterpillar motion. Feel when you've got your hips tucked under and when you don't, and what the difference between them is. Okay? When we don't, we've usually got a little bit of pressure at the lower back and our cores are pretty disengaged. When we do, the pressure goes to the glutes, in this case the hamstrings as well, and the stomach, the core, the abdominals. Keep focusing, guys. Keep squeezing, really crush that piece of paper and relax. Okay, congratulations, you made it through. Well done. That is you done. Now make sure you guys do a little bit of a cool down. If you need any guidance on that, I'll link a video in the description below. I hope you've learned something today and enjoyed yourself. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys next time.